The second Bellator Champions Series event goes down this Saturday, September 7th, in San Diego, headlined by Usman Nurmagomedov and Alexander Shabily, with a co-main event of Lorenz Larkin and Levan Chokli, which allegedly, right here, says it, you can see it, welterweight number one contender fight. Don't know what this means exactly. I don't know why they pulled these guys out to be the number one contenders at welterweight. Very odd choice here, but nonetheless should be an exciting fight, followed by Douglas Lima and Aaron Jeffrey in the feature bout. Let's start from the bottom up. Not a ton of super interesting matchups here. The women's fight to get the fight card started. Not a big one that I'm super interested in, but I know Josh Hokett, however you pronounce it, and Sean Rose, those are two guys that I've seen before. Those guys are as legit as they come when it comes to just being in an overall fun fight. Bryce Meredith, another guy who comes to swing every time. A lot of these matchups are not big-time matchups, big, great, exciting fights necessarily. There's some fun, scrappy guys in the mix, I'll give them that. But in terms of putting together a great overall fight card, this Bellator stuff is not working out the way that I think they wanted it to. Next up, we got Masayuki Kikuri, good fighter. Nothing crazy here. I'm not super excited for this one. I don't really know what we're going to get here. Haven't seen either of these guys fight very many times. Alayev in the next fight, Jordan Newman, two guys that I'm slightly more familiar with, but again, the same thing. I don't know what I'm going to get with these guys. Yancy Medeiros always comes to bang, that Hawaiian style. Like, this is the guy on the card, the main, like, what's the scheduling here? What's the main card here? Because Yancy Medeiros, to kick off the main card, fine, fun fight. Sumiko Inaba, fun fighter, but she's not the best fighter in the world. Like, I don't really understand this entire event. It's very weird just from the get-go, the entire build-up to it. They want to promote these champions fights as big deal, but then they put a fight card together like this with like literally half of it being don't really know, don't really care, prelim type fights on a big time card. Like, what is this? I don't understand what's going on here. Anyway, the Yancy Medeiros fight, not really even sure. Never seen this Jura Azevayan guy. He's probably decent. He looks, he looks like a fighter. Looks like he might be able to scrap, probably a wrestler type. Don't really know, don't really care. I don't know if I want to get invested in Bellator at this point. That's the point. That's what I'm trying to promote here. Like, what do you as a fan need to check out that you're not already looking at? The hardcores, what are we missing here? Because we had Rafion Stotts on the card, good fight. We had Grant Neal on the fight card, decent fight, whatever. Like good high-value guys for Bellator. Like good high-level Bellator guys that are fun to watch, that always show out, that are highly skilled, and now we just got a fight card that's a bunch of bullshit thrown together. Yancy Medeiros, fun fight. Sumiko Inaba, she's hot, like she's a fun fighter, she's got a fun style. Douglas Lima and Aaron Jeffrey, that's going to be a banger. Those guys come to slug every time. Aaron Jeffrey likes to sling it out on the feet, but he's got some grappling ability for sure. Douglas Lima, good grappler, heavy hands. Like this, that'll be a fun fight. These top three fights are fun fights. They're just like, what are the consequences? What do these really mean? Like Douglas Lima used to fight at welterweight. What's he doing at middleweight is my question. Like, what's what's going on here? That's what's going on. That's what's interesting about this is like, what is going on? What's the story? What does this mean for Bellator? What does this mean for the PFL? Where's the money going? Where's the money coming from? The only fight that I really, truly care about is the main event. Huge matchup, two highly skilled strikers. Usman Nurmagomedov, Sambo base, has great Taekwondo, karate style, loves to throw spinning attacks. Alexander Shabily, just a straight, absolute killer, 1-2 down the pipe, kickbox style. That's going to be an absolute fun fight. No other way to put it. Absolute banger of a matchup. Lorenz Larkin, Levan Chokli, these two guys are going to go in there and just sling it out. You know this. Can't miss. Might be one of the best fights you'll ever see in Bellator again because of the way the the company is currently going. There's so many questions here. Like, what does this mean? What does this event mean? Because this was supposed to be a stacked event with 2 big-time title fights headlining. Now, we're stuck with one world title fight, the great world title fight, probably one of the best world title fights you can make outside of the UFC. 2 guys that are deserving of the title shot. Shabily's really good. Usman Nurmagomedov might be the best guy outside of the UFC right now. And then the co-main event is just a fun banger matchup with a #1 contender label smacked on it. Like, who gives a shit? These 2 guys are going to sling it out. It's going to be fun. Douglas Lima and Aaron Jeffrey. Why is that not then a #1 contenders fight? Because these 2 guys are high level. They've had a bunch of wins, strung into some wins together. Like, what is this? I don't understand. Like, these guys, they trade wins and losses. Like, who cares? How does that make you a #1 contender? You're not on some huge win streak. I don't understand. The top 3 fights are going to be fun fights. Expect Aaron Jeffrey to make a name for himself here. I don't know what Douglas Lima is going to be looking like after this long layoff. After some ups, downs the past couple of years, I'm not exactly sure what we're going to get entirely. And then Lorenz Larkin and Levon Chokely. I expect Lorenz Larkin to win. I think he's got more power. But I think that's going to be a fun fight, no doubt, like I've already mentioned. And then Usman Nurmagomedov, I think he can mix it up better. I think if something goes wrong on the feet for him, if Shabily isn't knocking him out, expect Shabily, if he can't knock him out, for Usman to just go tit for tat, spinning attacks, be dangerous on the feet, and then mix in the takedowns. I think that's how Usman's going to win this one. Not too much of a tough matchup in terms of, like, is it going to be boring? I really think these guys are going to come in there and sling it out. They have the perfect styles for each other. They both come forward and throw everything but the kitchen sink at each other. Plus, Usman can mix it up and then make it a mixed martial arts matchup. That's going to be fun. That's going to be a good fight. Look forward to that one. For sure. Anyway, look forward to this one. At least give it a chance. Check out the last 3 fights if you're going to tune in at all. They're going to be fun bangers. Like, they've got good matchups. They've put good matchups together. It's just the meaning behind it, the consequences behind it just aren't there this time. Bellator Champion Series, September 7th in San Diego. It'll be a fun fight card. Probably have some good undercard fights too. The name value, the consequences aren't there. They're just filling out the roster, getting these guys fights contracted. It is what it is. That's Bellator now. That is owned by the PFL. So we'll see what happens.